Hello and welcome. This is Chai Hofilenia and this is your 6 p.m. wrap. President Rodrigo Duterte announces his separation from the United States in both military and economic aspects Thursday, October 20.
I announce my separation from the United States. Both in military, not in the social development, both in military but economic.
He makes the announcement during the Philippines-China Trade and Investment Forum in Beijing. Duterte is in China for a state visit. Duterte tells Chinese businessmen, quote, "So please, you have another problem of economics in my country. I am separated from them, so I will be dependent on you for a long time." He criticizes Americans for being, quote, "discourteous people." Duterte says, in his words, Americans are loud, sometimes rowdy. Their larynx is not adjusted to civility. Duterte adds, quote, "Duterte of the Philippines is veering towards China because China has the character of an Oriental. It does not go around insulting people." Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte and Chinese President Xi Jinping formally agreed to bilateral talks on the West Philippine Sea or South China Sea dispute. Duterte is in a state visit to China. Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Liu Zhenmin says, quote, "The two presidents agreed that China and the Philippines will return to the track of dialogue and consultation to properly handle the South China Sea issue." Liu adds, quote, "China is ready for discussion with friends in the Philippines on maritime cooperation and in many other areas." The Philippines and China also signed 13 documents on cooperation in different areas, among them a Memorandum of Understanding on the, quote, "establishment of a joint Coast Guard Committee on Maritime Cooperation." It is not yet clear if the cooperation of the country's coast guards involves joint patrols in the disputed area. President Rodrigo Duterte has repeatedly said he will end military exercises and push for a review of a military agreement with the United States. The Philippine National Police admits lapses and mistakes on the part of Manila Police in the violent dispersal of protesters in front of the United States Embassy. Several were hurt Wednesday, October 19, after a police van rammed through a crowd of protesters during the dispersal.
There are incidents wherein the reactions of the police is unreasonable and unjustified. Like for example, yung nangyari doon sa driver na si Franklin Ko. As I've said, walang sapat na dahilan para gawin niya yun. Dahil tinignan ko yung pinanood ko yung frame by frame kung ano talaga yung insidente. At ano yung nag-trigger sa kanya para gawin niya yun. I can easily say na walang sapat na dahilan. Pangalawa, yung pag-accost sa driver ng jeepney ng mga ralista. Wala rin sapat na dahilan.
But National Capital Region Police Chief Oscar Albayalde says the incident wasn't a case of police brutality. Albayalde says, quote, "The term brutality is too much. It is not the right word. Maybe there was an excessive use of force, not necessarily brutality. If it were brutality, they might be dead now." Typhoon Lawin weakens as it begins to exit the Philippine area of responsibility Thursday afternoon, October 20. As of 5 p.m., State Weather Bureau Pag-asa says Lawin is 240 kilometers west-northwest of Laoag City, Ilocos Norte. Lawin packs maximum sustained winds of 130 kilometers per hour with gustiness of up to 160 kilometers per hour. Signal number 1 is raised over Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, and Abra. Lawin forces more than 14,000 people to evacuate and causes massive damage to Isabela and Cagayan. Republican White House nominee Donald Trump refuses to say he will respect the Hillary Clinton victory during the third and last presidential debate Wednesday, United States time. When asked whether he would recognize the result of the election, Trump says, quote, "I'll tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense, okay?" The Republican presidential candidate also repeats his claims that his Democratic rival supporters plan to rig the election. Trump says millions of fake voters were registered. Trump came into the debate dogged by allegations of sexual misconduct that had him trailing in the polls.
That's your 6 p.m. wrap. Watch our updates daily at 12 noon and 6 p.m. I'm Chai Hofelenia. Remember, tomorrow begins today.